Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing good. It's the Coin Guy today with another not so coiny, I'm making that a term, coiny, not so coiny topic. Today I'm going to talk about colleges and universities. Now, the intent of this video is that it's more of a ESL type video because I have been asked many times, both as an English teacher and as a native speaker abroad, what's the difference between a college and a university? So we'll get into that today. I will be focused mostly on Canada, the US, and the UK. Obviously, there are literally hundreds of different systems out there, and even within Canada, the US, and the UK, there's a couple other systems at play. So I'm just going to give a basic definition because there is a subtle difference between these terms. And if you're like a high school student that's thinking of going abroad, or if you're just thinking of going abroad, studying abroad, these things can make a difference. So for my own educational experience, I did my undergraduate in Canada, in my hometown of Ottawa, at a place called Carleton University. I did my degree in History and Classics, or Greek and Roman Studies, as it was called there. So that was my undergrad, and that was at Carleton University. Now I did my master's degree at University College London, Qatar. So they're now defunct or now closed campus in Qatar. We shared a building with Georgetown University in the Education City, and it was a whole basically mini city built up of various international universities such as Texas A&M, Cornell, HEC Paris had a school, UCL obviously had a school, the Qataris had their Islamic school there, and it was a whole experience. But that was my master's degree, and it's actually in the archaeology of the Arab and Islamic world. So that was that. And now I'm a PhD at Leiden University. So now let's go through some of these systems and compare them. We'll compare and contrast and get a better idea of what they actually mean. So if we look at Canada, we have colleges and universities. Now the biggest difference is a college is generally for diplomas. So you will go to a college, for example, Algonquin College in Ottawa, if you want to do a diploma in, I don't know, secretary studies, or say more of a trade school type thing. So you want to become a chef, which doesn't require a degree. You want to become a mechanic, it only requires a diploma and an apprenticeship. Those sort of things. Colleges will also offer stuff to get people ahead. So let's just say you've been working in the government for 20 years, but you need that extra French course to get to your A4 or A5 or whatever your supervisor position. You will then go to a college and maybe do a night class. You'll also get maybe somebody who didn't do well in high school. They might then go and do like an arts and social science diploma as like a prep to get into university. So that's a college. Now, a university will be a degree granting place, whether that's a place like Carleton University, Ottawa University, Toronto University. I don't know all the universities in Canada. But basically you do an undergraduate, you do a master's, a PhD, any sort of actual degree. That is the substantial difference. College is for diploma, university is for degree. Now there's some weird exceptions to this, like some colleges do now offer degrees. That is slowly changing. You'll get the occasional one, or you'll get something like RMC, the Royal Military College. It's called a college, but it is a university. It's the only one. It's the only military school in Canada, basically. There's technically one other high school, but that's a whole nother video for another time. And that's where the subtle difference is. So again, in Canada, college is for diplomas. Universities are for degrees. Now in the US, there is a very similar system, but basically a college only offers undergraduate. A university offers undergraduate and graduate degrees, so masters and PhDs. That is the basic difference. Now, colleges in the US will also offer things like an associate degree, which is 2 years, and generally builds into a bigger degree. You will also get things like technical colleges and community colleges, which offer similar to what I said in Canada, where maybe you didn't do quite well in high school and you just need that extra step. You also have things like junior colleges, they follow the same sort of path. So you're not getting a PhD from a community college for the most part, but you might get an associate's degree, which then leads to a program at, I don't know, NYU or Yale or these bigger schools, and then you go and do a master's and PhD, etc. So again, that's your big difference. We could spend a long time talking about the difference between a technical college and a community college and a junior college and a private college, but that's a whole nother video and that'll take another day to present. In the UK now, colleges kind of take on another meaning, and these sometimes appear in the US as well. So you mostly just have universities. Again, Oxford, Cambridge, University of London, Edinburgh, I can go on. Colleges will sometimes be a part of a university. So you look at Oxford and Cambridge, for example, they have the colleges, which usually offer housing, room and board, almost more of a social aspect, and will do some of the teaching. And depending on your field, you might want to go to a certain college because maybe they have a certain professor who's a specialist in what you do, or a certain subject, but they will still be a part of the university. A good example as well is University College London or Birkbeck, Goldsmith, King's College. They are a part of the University of London. Technically, they've now amalgamated into one big university, but at one point they were their own separate creatures, or I should say separate institutes, not creatures. They're not creatures. Let's make that clear. Put that on the record. So for example, my degree from UCL says UCL. It doesn't say University of London. Because now UCL is a school unto itself, but it still has a connection with the University of London. So that's basically something that's developed. But in the UK, mostly you get universities. The colleges isn't quite as important. You will sometimes also get like high schools and stuff like that. That'll be called a college, but that's more of kind of a prep school type vibes. Like if you look at the famous Eton College, it is still basically a high school, but there's an air of sophistication to it. So that's something that's done in order to kind of elevate things. You get these in Canada as well. You'll get like collegiate institutes. It is just a high school at the end of the day. Another term that's sometimes used is college to mean like a faculty. So you might have the College of Medicine at Ottawa University. It's still part of Ottawa, but it's a separate department or faculty. In Europe especially, they get very picky about the difference between a college and a university and a faculty and a department. It's a whole thing. I'm still getting used to it. So there you go. That's just a brief summary. Depending on what country you're going to, you can get different things. So in Europe, especially the Netherlands, there's all sorts of different terms, which I'm still getting used to and still trying to understand. You get specialist degrees in the former Soviet Union. So you'll get like vocational schools and technical schools. It gets all wibbly wobbly complicated. So don't overthink that. But basic thing to first do, check which country you're thinking about. Look at the college itself or the university itself and look at the program. That's going to be the big thing to look at. Don't worry too much about the college university designation. So I hope that helps a lot. And I hope these sort of ESL videos are useful. If you've got any questions, give me a shout and see everyone next time. Bye-bye for now.